climate neutral coffee. Don't know if that's really good, but well, that's the topic of today's video. So today we're gonna climb a beautiful route here in the sandstone towers of Saxon, Switzerland, and I'm gonna do a voiceover where I talk about how you can calculate your CO2 footprint and make it to zero. And yeah, let's start climbing, and I will do a voiceover.
Hello my guys and welcome to a new video on my channel. It's been a long while. I'm sitting here in the Plaza de España in Ciorana at a coffee and trying to record this, but there might be dogs barking and stuff. So this topic is kind of like a nice climb I did in Saxon, Switzerland, which is amazing. Hope you enjoy it. Just relax and watch it, but I also try to talk a bit about climate neutral compensation. It's a big topic, I feel like, especially in a rich country, when you live in a rich country like Germany or the US. And you hear a lot of shit being talked about CO2 compensations. For example, that people forget to reduce emissions and think that the compensation makes everything good, or that all compensations don't work the way they are marketed. All these reasons are reliable but don't take into consideration the use of compensation when done right. And that's why I looked a bit into it, listened to a lot of podcasts and surfed through the web. And so let's say I as a person want to be CO2 neutral. First, it's impossible to be CO2 neutral without compensation. First, I have to measure my CO2 emissions. I linked a few good calculators in a document which you can find a link to in the description. I had trouble finding a good one because I live in a van and charge everything with solar, and in the winter I only heat my van from time to time, which does not take a lot of energy, but these calculators take housing into calculation. Well, so I used a lot of different calculators, and the mean CO2 emissions for me seems to be like 9 tons a year, which is a bit below average for a German person, but still 9 tons a year is quite a lot, I think. And traveling and hobbies distribute the most, and that's the first step, calculate. So now you know your emissions, then the next one is to reduce. And reduce your emissions is the most important part. So I looked at my diet and saw that the food that has the most emissions is quark, especially mager quark for me. So I reduced my intake by about 20%. It's not a lot, but I love mager quark, so I cannot reduce it all the way. And bought more seasonal foods. And that's a small part. You can buy with less plastic your food and try to consume less, buy more second-hand. But well, you cannot reduce all your emissions. And the rest I cannot really reduce. My climbing gear is used as long as possible to still be safe, and the traveling I do is to the most part not flying and sharing the car or taking public transportation, which is quite good in Germany. So the biggest climate killer personally is my climbing, but I take the train and bike to 80%. So that leaves me with 9 tons of CO2 emissions a year, which is already the least amount for me to still pursue my lifestyle. And this is where CO2 compensations come into play. In a rich country, it is at least an option to compensate, and there are a few projects that really make a change. And just to say all is bullshit and just doing nothing, making it too easy for yourself, I feel like. And there are good organizations and projects to invest a few $100s a year. It's a step toward a cleaner and more equitable world. I also linked a few sites which have good projects in the... so I feel like the gold standards is a really good... Oh, I hope the dogs don't make too much noise. So the gold standards is a really good site. They are all certified projects. I will read a few. So you go to the gold standards and go on CO2 compensations, and there you have a lot of products, they call them, where you can invest money, and you see like, for example, there's a 6 million watt solar power projects, and there's like you have to pay $20 for 1 ton of CO2 emissions. Or clean water in Laos, 20 megawatts biomass power project in India, solar cooking for refugees in Chad, biogas in Kenya. Well, there are a lot of different projects you can invest your money, and it feels good, and it's at least something you can do, and not doing nothing, like I said, is, well, not the solution to anything. And I feel like in Germany there's a nice site called Klimawette. They only invest into certified projects. And yeah, I calculated 9 tons, that's 225 euros. And I said they can use my money for all their projects, which is like solar power in Kenya, clean cooking places in Rwanda, then reforest in Uganda, biogas plants in Nepal, and buying CO2 certificates, which makes it a bit more expensive for companies in Europe to produce products that produce CO2. Okay, that's weird to explain. If you're interested in Europe, there are CO2 certificates, but they're quite expensive and don't really make such a big difference. So you can make more with your money in poorer countries like in the global south, and there it's important to give your money to projects that are certified and really make a difference, and don't just take your money. So I hope you enjoyed the video. The climb is almost over. It was amazing climbing, quite exciting, and well, in this summer I hope to do a big project in Saxony, Switzerland, and I'm training hard for it, so that should come out in the fall, and hope you stay tuned until then. See you, and maybe give a present to someone for Christmas as CO2 compensations, or maybe invest some money into it. I think it just leaves a better world in the end. Alright, enjoy Christmas, get into the new year well, and I'm staying here in Spain and climbing. It's amazing, the sun is hitting my face, and I'm having a rest day farming some skin. Alright, bye guys, see you.